The Prime player starts to the top right of Daybreak. Can he get his nerves under control? Will he be the victor in game number 2? He is.
Creator Prime.
Down a game in the series. 16 years old.
And this is tense.
Yep. To the bottom left, we have his opponent starting for Team Azubu. The Terran player, 22 years old. He is
Azubu SuperNova.
SuperNova. He won the Code qualifier, won both of his games. The best of 3s in the first round and the second round of Code without losing a single map. And so far, his streak holds.
Yeah, really well done. And, you know, SuperNova is a player who's always been really good at that type of aggression that we saw. I expect to see the exact same thing from him in this game. If it works once, it may work twice.
Yep. You know, one of the first times where SuperNova got a little bit of that well-deserved exposure was, I think, WCG 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And he always was a player that was very solid, but he never really had the results that the entire world really noticed him and really saw how good this guy is. People were always talking about how he could be the one to do it this season, but every time he just fell short a little bit. But right now, even though he's a very solid player, he might be able to get back in curse, and who knows, he might be able to do a very good run there.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. I would love to see that, you know, if he does advance here. But he's, you know, he still has a series ahead of him, and let's see if he goes double barracks again to do that marine pressure, or if he's just going to do the one. Either way, Creator will see it with this probe.
Yeah, Scout for Creator is really good here. He knows exactly what's going on in this situation, so that's definitely worth quite a bit. And finds himself now going into his own Nexus once again.
Yeah, he actually cut some corners this time to do it because he saw the command center first. He scouted that, and there's the Nexus. And it is going to be a double barracks follow-up again for SuperNova, who does scout, or is scouted by the probe.
You can really see with SuperNova also that the environment that he's working in now is really benefiting him quite a bit. He was formerly playing for Team MTW and was the only player in Korea playing for the team, so that didn't really give him a team house where he could train with, and is just blooming a lot in Team Azubu. A lot of the players actually do. You can see that at the GSTL every single time. The team spirit seems to be very good. Also the atmosphere in the team house. So that's something where SuperNova will definitely benefit from.
Yeah. You know, he definitely had some hard times after OGS disbanded, but, you know, a lot of players did. And they've kind of all found homes, a lot of them on Azubu. And I'm happy for him to be able to have a team he can rely on. You know, it was always one of the things I noticed about him when he played on MTW and when he was teamless for a while. He was, at the time, the only teamless player in Code S. And I remember when he lost his matches, he just put his backpack on, walked out of the studio without saying bye to anybody. And I was like, well, that's just such a lonely, terrible place to be in as a pro gamer, you know. No one's supporting you, and you don't have a team house to return to. You're going back home.
He's also one of those more introverted players. He's not really shy. Like, if you ask him, you will get a straight-up question, but he's always very quiet, a very quiet person. He, when he plays, or when the team plays, sits on the team bench, always looks like he's a little bit sleepy. He's a player that actually got eye surgery and like cosmetic surgery, and it really looked good. So right now he's up 1-0 in the series, and we're gonna find out if he can actually clinch out a 2-0 victory against such a strong player as Creator, who's struggling a bit more in Heart of the Swarm than he did in Rings of Liberty. Definitely the stronger Wings of Liberty player.
Absolutely. Creator takes a risky third here. Forgeless, I might add. So he's going to... It's not going to be as risky as it could be, but it's...
It's at 550 full. That's pretty...
I mean, he's definitely taken a chance here. This is not as risky as the one we saw from Hurricane in the Team League.
But the problem here is that even with the Mothership Core, it's difficult to defend it because the Mothership Core is not... It's not the fastest unit, not like a Speedlink.
Yeah, and it's also very late, so he doesn't even have enough energy as we speak right now. If he doesn't hit this Force Seal, he's going to lose more than just this Sentry.
Oh my god, Creator, what was that? He doesn't see it on the minimap, he loses his first sentry, and now those Marines are moving in, and they will get more than only one kill.
Yeah, oh absolutely. They're going to kill so many of these probes. He could try to target the Mothership Core, but he just goes for the probes instead, which is a much smarter choice. It's exactly what he wanted.
What an epic trade here for the Azubu player. 8 workers. He didn't scout the third base, and if he scouts the third, he can just man up another attack and move in, but that was horrible by Creator. He was completely unaware what was going on the minimap.
Yeah, we're going to see Hellbat drops coming up next, Kelder, is what is on the menu for SuperNova. And you know, this can be defended by Creator, but not on 3 bases and not with very few gateways. You know, now he's trying to tech up. He still has such a small gateway count.
Scouting is going to be important now. So far, SuperNova does not know about the third, but he killed a lot of these harvesters, and Creator, he's in a lot of trouble. If he gets the time, yes, with the 3 bases, he will be able to overwhelm SuperNova in terms of economy and production. But that's only true if SuperNova really gives him the time, and it's very unlikely that the Terran player will just sit back and play, not be aggressive at all.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's going to reactor out these 2 Hellbats right now, and the Medevac's going to finish up a little bit earlier, so he might be able to put a drop aggression on first. Scouting this armory is huge if Creator can see it, and he does not see it. You know, he sees Hellions coming out, but that could just be for, you know, just Hellion pressure, or maybe he's making Widow Mines. He doesn't know for sure this is Hellbats right now. He tries, you see he comes back and he's like, well, can I find the armory? And he just can't see it.
Halberd drops are so difficult to deal with if you're up against a player with good macro management and multitasking, and this is what SuperNova has showcased in game number 1 already. So this is going to be so difficult for the Creator to hold off, and he's really taking it up quite a bit. And I feel that now with the Medivac on the way, he should also be able to catch a glimpse of the third base.
Yeah, and he's going right for it. The drop is spotted, of course. He already has units in place.
I wouldn't say that, given that, now he puts the units in position, but earlier he didn't even see the Marines coming. He sees the third base though. Oh, but the dropship, he catches it and uses the afterburners right away.
He's actually moving out with an aggressive push too with this. He's got a siege tank and a few Marines coming down the right side. He can really actually fight with those Hellbats with his army.
I really feel that he should move out. He saw the third base now and he realizes what's going on here. So he knows that on 3 bases, Creator is kind of weak when it comes down to his army size.
You know, he's just going to trade against these. He gets a decent amount of probe kills there until he's killed 12 probes this game.
Yeah, I didn't like the timing here, though. We have another drop heading into the main base right now to the top right, dropping once again the Hellbats. He could have dropped both at the same time, but this way he gives Creator a little bit of time to react.
And he does not save his Hellions in either drop, so the drops are now just no longer a factor, and his base is so late.
I actually have to say that Creator, with these 2 drops, not doing really a lot. Creator is getting a good angle on this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, his third base has been mining for a really long time now.
He killed 14 harvesters, SuperNova that is, but keep in mind that he already killed 8 earlier, so with both dropships he only took down 6 additional ones. Those drops were not worth their money.
Yeah. And he's in a position where his third base is up, but he's in an awkward position when it comes to upgrades because it's Creator we're talking about here, and he's been chrono boosting. He's got +2 armor out, and I really like that Creator keeps using these Phoenixes. Hallucination is actually, in my opinion, maybe even too strong. Like, it's so easy for a Pros player to come in and scout repeatedly, and I love that he uses it just over and over and over and over again. And SuperNova, there's nothing he can really do about it. It's just like he's scouted constantly.
And now here we have the third base being attacked by one of the charge zealots, but SuperNova reacting in time. But Creator is really getting a little bit ahead in this game. He already has the supply lead, he's going for the upgrades. And the dropships earlier, they did not do too much damage. And Hellbats alone, they don't cost a lot of money. It's 100 minerals each. But you have to go into the early armory that you want to. And also SuperNova didn't just take down anything. Now he scans again, trying to find out what's going on here. But even in the main base, there are units just waiting for this dropship.
Yeah, there's a cannon and 3 stalkers. He's going to say NO to that drop.
Oh, he's pulling them away though.
Yeah, that's bad timing there. Bad luck. Here come those Hellbats, but they're not going to get a ton done here.
Don't kill so far. Yep.
No,
nice reaction. Well done.
He needs, you know, his dropships are still on hit points, but I feel if he just managed the drops a little bit better, he could have saved some of these Hellbats.
Yeah, the problem for him really being that we now have +2 armor already done for Creator. He's going into the double upgrades now with starting to research the +1 attack upgrade, but first of all he has a few units at the front trying to take down a couple of zealots.
Yeah, that was really fortunate timing for SuperNova, and of course since it's Creator he lost his Observer.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, SuperNova is trying to find some angles. He remains ahead in supply, and his upgrade timings are not horrible. You know, he's not really messed up with his upgrades, but it's just that Creator's got that lead, and it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why SuperNova was ahead in supply is that Creator didn't really use up his bank. And that's what he's now starting to do, so he's really catching up in supply very fast. And he has a good tech out there. The guy is going into the robotics bay, but he's gonna lose one of those High Templars, losing the second one. Yes, but taking down quite a few bio units.
That was, the second storm was good. Creator's got to be paying a little bit more attention to which, you know, what angle his opponent's coming in at, because if he had seen that a little bit faster, react a little bit quicker, just like what happened with the Sentry in the beginning of the game. He definitely could have just crushed that army with good storms. 2 storms would have made, you know, he loses almost nothing. And here comes the SCV pull. This is what, you know, we all expected to see at this point. He knows Korea's third base has been up for a really, really long time, and he's got to do something about this. He knows the upgrades are getting worse too.
Yeah, but the storms, we have 3 High Templars, and they will be key in this engagement. Once the creator sees what's going on here, he needs to use those storms. We have also a few ghosts, so it's going to be difficult for him to do this. But he saw, creator saw, he has an observer there.
Yeah, he's going to go into the natural. I like this choice, but he's got to get up between those rocks. And Creator's not actually watching which angle this is coming from.
There's also another dropship moving in now.
Yeah, the dropships are empty. I think he's just going to have to rejoin the army. Oh, nicely picked off, though, by Creator. Really well done.
Both down, but here comes the army, and he needs good storms. Without the storms, he cannot handle this. He's moving in. He has the first Colossus as well. 1 Colossus, 1 Archon. Where are the High Templars? Where are the storms?
This is such a better position for SuperNova. He's got a siege tank. He's got Marauders up here. He's got the better concave.
The siege check is gone. The first storm is doing a decent amount of damage, but not enough. He needs more than that. The SCVs are trying to move in.
They're at the back right now, though. He needs to put them up at the front, and Creator, I think, may just have too much for him here.
Creator is pulling his own probes. Probes versus SCVs. The workers are fighting as well, and at the same time, the rest of the Protoss army is charging in. He has quite a lot here, and SuperNova is dropping in supply. So is Creator. This is so close.
Army supply is dead even, but it looks like SuperNova is going to be pushed back in the last second. A lot of that army supply in the medevacs here, which are now totally empty.
Creator still has a massive bank that he can use to immediately warp in another round of units. He was at 1,300 minerals during this engagement, and with the next round of warp-ins, he should be able to overwhelm his opponent. And he also has a 4th base. At the bottom right, he expanded again while this fight was going on.
Yeah, this is... SuperNova is probably going to type out. I thought he was going to type out after that scan, but there's even a 4th base, as you mentioned, and...
The upgrades.
The upgrades still vastly in favor of Creator. 3-1 to 2-1.
Exactly, and he's getting shields and the second attack upgrade, whereas SuperNova stopped upgrading because he tried to go all in with this build. Double the worker count now for Creator. He has the better economy, and he is pushing out. He tries to take this game and take it now. It takes down 2, maybe even 3 medivacs if you can get close enough.
No Vikings for the Colossi. GG.
A much better game by Creator here than the game number 1. Even though at the beginning, he was quite shaken. Losing that Sentry and all those harvesters like this was definitely a big problem for him early on.
Yeah.
But he caught himself.
Not an easy win, but definitely a well-deserved one. He held well.
A shaky start, but then a very solid performance, and the 3rd base helped him a lot. Those 2 Hellbat drops just didn't do anything for SuperNova. You should have timed them a little bit better. Hitting at the same time with both of them might have taken out more probes, and then he could have won with another push.
You always want to hit that push before either 2-2 or whatever upgrade the Frost is working on is done, or before the Storm upgrade is done. But in this case, Storm was finished, and that was the key for Creator's hold. It was so close. I mean, as we saw, if he had done this with Vikings, for example, maybe depending on how he wanted to spend his resources, it could have worked better, but the positioning was perfect for SuperNova.
And Creator now has the momentum going for him. He is in a position where he took the last game. The series heads into game number 3, this time on a kill on wastes. And it's going to be very tense. Creator showing us on Daybreak that he is a very tough opponent, even though he lost the first game with SuperNova taking him apart. But he's not a pushover.
Yeah. Akalon is a map that's a little bit smaller. It's a 2-player map that we can see a lot of timing attacks, usually from a Protoss on this map. We could see that Blink Stalker all-in. It's not really Creator's style, though. Creator's not the type of guy to do an all-in, unless it's all from 2 base with the gateways, but he's not going to do any sort of Blink Stalker play, I don't think.
But that's why I would love to see it from him.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about this in the GSTL, about how Creator's playstyle is extremely solid, but sometimes a little bit predictable.
You need to have a few all-ins and timings in your repertoire to make sure that you can take a win like this. Especially in a best of 3, it is so cool if you can mix it up a bit and get into your opponent's head. This is exactly what Creator might try in this game. But what are we going to see from SuperNova? His Hellbat drops didn't do damage in game number 2, but his play in game number 1 was excellent. It did quite a number on Creator. Dropship play. That seems to be what he can really pull off against his opponent. Heading now into game 3, we'll find out who of these 2 players will advance to Codes and who will find himself in the up and downs coming up in just a few weeks. This is, of course, the GSL Code A, ladies and gentlemen, the Challenger League here in Korea. Creator up against SuperNova, game number 3, brought to you by Kalangol.
get in it to win.